You think about fencing and maybe you picture something, I don't know, a bit distant. Elegant, fast, sure, but maybe not something easily accessible for most kids.
Right. It often has that perception. But there's something new happening in Los Angeles that's aiming right at that issue.
Exactly. We're doing a deep dive today into the launch of the Nick Itkin Foundation.
And for this, we're looking mainly at the info straight from their own website,
Yeah.
what they say their goals and programs are, plus a news piece about the launch itself.
Our mission really is to get a handle on what this foundation is setting out to do, its programs, and frankly, why it matters, especially in the U.S. fencing scene.
And you can't really talk about this foundation without understanding who Nick Itkin is. He's a major figure.
Oh, absolutely. Not just a figure, but one of the top names in American fencing right now. We're talking about a guy with 2 Olympic medals,
Yeah.
team bronze from Tokyo 2020, and then individual bronze just this year in Paris.
Plus his college career, 2 NCAA titles for Notre Dame back in 2018 and 2019. That's serious pedigree.
And don't forget the World Championships. He got silver individually in 2023, bronze in 2022. He was actually the first U.S. man to grab back-to-back individual world medals like that.
So someone at the absolute peak of the sport. And that's the person starting this foundation. It adds a lot of weight.
It really does. So what's the main driver here? What problem are they trying to solve?
Well, it seems pretty clear from their materials. The core issue is money. The financial barriers that stop a lot of young people from even trying fencing, let alone pursuing it seriously.
Uh-huh. So it's about opening doors.
Exactly. They talk a lot about fostering inclusivity, creating pathways for kids from all sorts of backgrounds.
Because fencing does teach amazing skills, right? Discipline, thinking ahead, resilience, all that stuff.
Definitely valuable life lessons.
Mhm.
But the foundation acknowledges that the cost equipment, coaching, club fees often puts it out of reach for many families.
That cost factor is key. It's not like basketball where you just need a ball and a hoop to start. Fencing gear alone is an investment.
A significant one. So having a foundation specifically targeting that, led by an athlete of Itkin's caliber, is quite noteworthy.
Let's paint a slightly fuller picture of Nick Itkin. Born in L.A., October 9th, 1999, right-handed foil fencer.
Right, foil being one of the 3 weapons. The others are saber and épée.
We've touched on his medals, but that consistency, Olympics, Worlds, NCAAs, it just shows incredible dedication.
And you have to assume someone who's reached that level understands exactly what resources are needed, the coaching, the travel, the support system.
So it feels authentic, his desire to give back, to provide those kinds of opportunities to kids who might face the same hurdles he potentially navigated, or worse.
It seems that way. So how are they actually doing this? What are the concrete programs the foundation is offering?
Okay, program number 1, free Sunday fencing classes for youth. Sounds pretty straightforward.
It does. They describe it as a weekly class to introduce kids to the basics. The key things are no experience needed and all the gear is provided free.
That immediately removes 2 big barriers right there. The I've never done it barrier and the I can't afford the stuff barrier.
Precisely. The goal seems to be making that first taste of fencing fun, engaging, and crucially accessible without any upfront financial worry for parents.
That makes a huge difference in just getting kids through the door to try it. So what if a kid tries it, loves it, and wants to get serious?
That leads to their second main initiative, the competitive athlete program.
Okay, so this is for the fencers who are looking to compete, maybe aim higher.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This sounds much more comprehensive. They talk about providing in-depth training footwork, technique, strategy, conditioning, the whole package.
Does it involve coaching?
Yes, private and group lessons are mentioned, which are essential for developing advanced skills.
And what about the costs associated with competing? Travel, entry fees, good equipment, that adds up fast.
They seem to be addressing that directly. The program description mentions travel assistance for competitions, access to top-tier equipment, and covering expenses like entry fees and coaching fees for tournaments.
Wow, okay, so that's potentially removing a massive financial obstacle for talented young fencers.
That seems to be the explicit goal, helping promising athletes compete regionally, nationally, maybe even internationally, without being held back purely by lack of funds.
So it's building a real pipeline, not just an introduction. But what about the bigger picture? Is it just about medals?
Based on their mission statement, it seems broader than that. They talk about fostering a supportive community, cultivating the next generation, and emphasizing values beyond the sport itself.
Like what kind of values?
Things like excellence, discipline, sportsmanship, empowering athletes on and off the piste, as they put it. life skills, essentially.
That connects to something else they mentioned, the link between fencing and college opportunities.
Right. They point out that elite colleges often recruit fencers, sometimes with scholarships.
And that fencers often tend to be strong academically, developing leadership skills universities really value.
So participating, especially through a structured program like this, could potentially open up academic pathways too. It's an interesting angle.
And practically speaking, where's this all happening?
The foundation is based at the Los Angeles International Fencing Center. The address is 11725 Exposition BLVD, Los Angeles, CA 90064.
And it sounds like they're already active.
Yes, the news snippet mentioned they've already started introducing fencing to kids in inner-city LA, partly funded by a grant from the U.S. Fencing Foundation. So boots are on the ground.
Good to know. If people listening are in the LA area or know someone who might benefit, how can they get in touch?
The foundation provides an email, info@nickitkinfoundation.org,
Oh,
and a phone number, +1 310 776 5394.
it's their social media.
Yes, they have an Instagram handle, @nickitcanling. That's probably a good place for updates.
Okay, great. And speaking of supporting the fencing community, this is a good moment to mention our sponsor, Fencing Family.
Ah, yes, Fencing Family. They're an Etsy shop, also based here in Los Angeles.
They offer some really cool fencing-themed apparel, accessories, gifts, that kind of thing. If you're into fencing, definitely check them out.
Their shop is at https://fencingfamily.etsy.com. They're worth a look if you need some fencing swag.
So wrapping this up, the big picture here is the launch of the Nick Itkin Foundation in LA, a major initiative.
Focused squarely on breaking down financial barriers and widening access to fencing for young people, offering both introductory and competitive pathways.
And it's significant that it's being driven by someone like Nick Itkin, a top athlete investing directly back into the grassroots and future competitors.
It absolutely is. It shows a real commitment to the sport's future growth and inclusivity.
It definitely leaves you thinking, doesn't it, about how initiatives like this one can potentially change not just individual lives, but the whole feel of a sport.
Making it more representative, maybe uncovering talent that might otherwise have been missed.
Makes you ponder, what barriers exist in other areas we care about and what could happen if those were lowered. Something to chew on.